Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast at Crown Jewel, Logan Paul impresses. And now he's out for 9 months. Austin Theory fails to cash in on the U.S. title. We had a spectacular NJPW event. We had a very good AEW event with a very good main event. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. See, at least I tried to sell it there. Might have.
No, you brought your effort today. I appreciate that.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. I am Bill Vagey, as always, your host, a.k.a. the Unijobber. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Yeah, that was good. I think Unijobber. I don't know why it is, man. It's just like the initial laugh, and then I have like the giggle laugh afterwards because it really like sets in.
It's probably the weed.
Yeah. Duh. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 282. Chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels, it's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. Monster week of wrestling. Your boy has been grinding, and we got it all in. Excited to hear opinions from the cast, the crew, the members, the whole shebang. Let's do this.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, the great, beautiful Pacific Northwest of these United States of America, we have Two Beers. Zach Pullman, what's going on, Two Beer?
BFR West in the house.
Hey, what's up? It actually is really beautiful this week. We had an atmospheric river on Friday, which just essentially means a ton of rain. It was insane. And even for out here, and now it's just like no rain this week. It's like 50, and it's like fall. I love it.
Is all you can say is that your life is pretty plain? I'm sorry. You know what? Right there where Jason was doing that warm-up for BFR West in the house, I should keep talking about Pacific Northwest.
To see how long you
Just
can go.
to see how long you can go. So Jason and I and Reba and Vice is going to be here in a minute just so him and Jason can giggle in the background while Zach and I are trying to have hardcore wrestling conversations. Are coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. It is nice out here. There's a nice little breeze. It's probably about 65.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, you're probably right. It's really nice. It was a monster week of wrestling. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. We're starting a little bit later tonight, and your boy has a new job that he has to drive to in the morning. So let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get to that 3 count.
Tom Brady ain't playing today, y'all.
First quick out to Jason Cornelius Bell.
Right.
What's the 1 count? Kick us off.
I'm 7-11. I'm always open. We're going to go with Crown Jewel to kick off the 1 count. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 match card, highlighted obviously by the main event with Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. I'm just going to go from start to finish, do some quick hits, and then I'll let the guys jump in and give their opinions. We opened up with Bobby versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar goes over in a reversal of the Hurt Lock, very reminiscent of, I believe it was Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler at their WrestleMania match, the roll-up finish for the win. Bobby Lashley proceeds to beat down Brock Lesnar after the fact. I think we start to see more of a heel turn for Bobby Lashley moving forward. Damage Control beats Asuka and Alexa to win back the Women's Tag Team Championships. My question with this is, why did we have them lose in the first place? We could have did what we've done all the way up to this point and then have them win the match. In this case, you could have had Nikki still interfere, help the champs, in this case, Damage Control, win, and then still move forward with whatever storyline they had on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, I'll let the boys talk on that. Drew versus Karrion Kross in the steel cage. Drew McIntyre goes over. Apparently, Drew McIntyre was extremely sick coming into this match, and this match, arguably up to this point, was the match of the night. It didn't look like Drew was missing a beat. My only problem with this match is Mace in the Eye does not take less than 30 seconds to walk away from and continue to fight. But minor little little hiccup there. Outside of that, like I said, up to this point, the match of the night. Judgment Day goes over the OC in the first swerve of the night as far as I was concerned. Didn't really see this coming. I thought the OC would get the receipt back for Judgment Day, but Judgment Day keeps rolling. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Braun versus Omos, I'll be perfectly honest. I went to the shower for this one. This is the match I cared least about. The tweet from Braun Strowman after the fact reinforced the fact why I went to the shower, because it couldn't have been that goddamn good. Even if it was good, it couldn't have been 47-star matches good, you trolling son of a bitch. Brawling Brutes versus the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Then, now the match of the night, vote switches. Once again, the Usos always seem to come out of the woodwork with another great match. I know FTR is probably the unanimous pick for the Beefers Tag Team of the Year, and every time we say that, the Usos always say, hold my beer, and they put up another great match.
That's what they say.
One of them does. Bayley versus Bianca in a last woman standing match. Not what I thought it was going to be. I expected a little more physicality, but the finish was a little smart. Didn't really see that coming. Bayley loses to Bianca Belair. And then in the main event, which everybody is pretty much talking about for one reason or another, Roman Reigns retains the Undisputed Universal titles over Logan Paul. I guess my biggest question from this in kayfabe, does Logan, I shouldn't say it like this, does Roman Reigns lose a little luster, getting stretched, extended by a person that's had now 3 matches in WWE when you've been dominant for 3 years? Quick trivia question. Can anybody, and I know the answer, so I wouldn't just ask this, can anybody name the last person to pin Roman Reigns?
I'm guessing by the way you asked that it's not Brock Lesnar.
No.
That was my guess.
No.
Two beer?
No, I mean, Lesnar was my guess. Maybe before that,
Big E?
No.
Bobby Lashley?
No, think heel. He's been a heel for a little bit.
MJF.
Rollins. Rollins.
Maybe in 2 or 3 years.
Who?
Well, it's a babyface, no?
We'll talk about that in a second.
Who?
Baron Corbin.
Oh, my dude.
Baron Corbin is the last person to pin Roman Reigns. I had to actually look that up and verify it before I brought it on the
say
podcast.
That every week?
Say that again?
That's a really good question.
Why doesn't he say that every week?
That's a spectacular.
Dude, I was thinking that too. When I found that out, I'd have been like, Corbin should be like, I'm the last guy to pin Roman Reigns.
Zach,
I'm the last guy to pin Roman Reigns every time.
Zach, what's your biggest takeaway from the pay-per-view or the Crown Jewel, whatever it is?
Premium live events, sir.
I ain't calling it that. I don't work for WWE. They work for
Biggest
me.
takeaway. I mean, this was a good show overall. Biggest takeaway though is like Logan Paul is a contender for Rookie of the Year. Dude's really, really good at this, and I'm super bummed that he got shoot injured because we're not going to be able to see him at the Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or whatever.
Maybe WrestleMania. I mean, torn MCL isn't as long, but if he tore his ACL, which I don't know if he did or not.
That's what I thought it said. MCL, ACL, and like meniscus.
But they said the ACL was questionable. Last thing I saw. I'm sure that's been updated, but we're not reporters. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Answer a few of Jason's questions. I actually wrote them down just so I can answer, or I wrote a word note here so I can answer. They switched the belts on the women's tags because they don't matter. I love the Drew's new gimmick is that he wrestles shoot sick, but you can't even tell because he's so good. He had food poisoning at Cardiff. He's got the flu at Crown Jewel. So good. We now have to do a beefer for the shower match of the year. But I love that Jason went into the shower.
Fuck this. I gotta go to work here in an hour or so, man. Y'all fucking around.
Shower match of the year. That's good.
And I did like the women's title match, but Bailey was like at the end, being like stuck in the ladder. I mean, she looked like, a stepmom stuck in the washer. It's like, you can get out. It's super easy. You're just doing it.
That's funny.
That's a Pornhub joke.
Yeah, truly. Bray Wyatt, I forgot about the Bray Wyatt segment. This was the first one that I actually could understand what Uncle Howdy was saying. So now it kind of drew me in a little bit more. Still not really into it, but at least I can understand Uncle Howdy on this one.
Yeah, what's the over-under, sports bettors, on when Bray Wyatt has a match?
I'd say the over-under is Survivor Series.
I'll take the over.
When the Survivor Series?
In like 2 weeks?
No, it's that quick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to be a Survivor Series then. I thought, okay, so we'll say January 1st.
I'll still take the over. I would almost go Royal Rumble. They're not going to do the day one pay-per-view or whatever.
But if you were going to, if I was Vegas and I was making the odds, or if I was Daddy Magic and I was making the odds, then I would put it at January 1st.
Okay, then I'll take the over.
I'll take the over.
Royal Rumble would be a kind of an ideal spot. That way he can interact with 2 or 3 different people. You can set up his real first feud. You can go that route. I'll go Royal Rumble, so that means I'll take the over.
So before I give you my takes, unless Zach has anything else to say about his initial impressions.
Overall, it was a good show. I wish I could have done the thing and watched it on the morning, but I was so lazy. I got drunk on Friday, and then I woke up Saturday. I was just laying in bed for 2 hours, not watching the TV. And I was like, oh, shit. So I didn't watch this until Sunday.
I was at the Mizzou game Saturday, having a good time with my brother and his friends.
You all banged up.
So after the ladies went to bed and Jacob and I were sitting up and just, shooting the shit, watching I Think You Should Leave and smoking cigarettes, I was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, let's just watch Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. I mean, Logan Paul made him a believer, and he doesn't watch wrestling. He listens to the podcast sometimes, but he was very impressed. He was like, Logan fucking Paul is wrestling. I'm like, dude, he's pretty good. I'm going to say this. I don't know if it's better, but Logan Paul's Frog Splash is as good as Montez Ford's. That is, he gets
hot take.
Some fucking. His frog splash. I think he did 2 in the match.
One that went. He had the phone in his hand. I think there was a first one before that, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean that he really gets some air.
Imagine how high he would jump if he wasn't white.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Logan Paul is legit. There's no other way to say it. I would have booked the main event a little bit differently, because he essentially is a YouTuber. I mean, he boxed Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather didn't knock him out, but Mayweather doesn't knock anybody out. Mayweather was kind of playing with him because Mayweather doesn't like to get hit. That's a different podcast. That is for our boxing podcast called Banned from Ringside. Wait a minute. No, I guess I don't know what I would. I don't know what I would call it, but I thought it was strangely booked. I didn't see them have it. I mean, I didn't see a 25-minute match or whatever it ended up being, but man, it was a fun match. It was a fun match at 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday, going into Sunday. I didn't rewatch it, but I know that I had a great time. I watched the rest of it later on. It was a really good pay-per-view. That was the match that stuck out to me the most. It was a little overbooked at the end, but I mean, I expected that. If it was going to go over 5 minutes, then it was going to be overbooked.
Well, I think that's part of the Roman Reigns, reign, for lack of a better word. The bloodline in some form or fashion gets involved. As much as we should give Logan Paul all the flowers, especially going through that match with a banged up knee halfway through. We got to give flowers to Roman Reigns too. It takes two to tango, and Roman Reigns did his part too. You can't have Logan Paul being in his third match and make it look that good if the other guy isn't as good as well. And I know Roman Reigns isn't known as a great wrestler. He's not Daniel Bryan. He's not Zack Sabre Jr. He's none of those guys. Not even close. But for this episode, for this match, he made Logan Paul look good. Dare I say, better than Pat McAfee ever had. And that, to me, was the celebrity bar of, guys that would come in to do maybe a one-off and look good. Pat McAfee was good last year. He was good. He was great against Adam Cole in his debut. I'll take it like this. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee was good. This was better.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pat McAfee's great. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking, like, all apologies to Bad Bunny. Logan Paul is the best celebrity wrestler they've ever had. That bar keeps getting set higher and higher over the last 5 years or so, starting with Stephen Amell, I would say.
Yeah, at All In.
At All In. Really starting with Hugh Jackman when he laid Dolph Ziggler out about 10 years ago. But
say, damn, man, what you doing?
It was tremendous. Zach, I should also talk about our predictions. So, tied for first place, we have Two Beard Zach Bowman with 6 points. We have Jason Cornelius Bell with 6 points. So you guys tie for first. All right, Zach, any other thoughts about the pay-per-view?
No. Just the crown jewels are more entertaining now. I feel like that they tie into the regular story and they don't have the Goldbergs and the Undertakers and all that. They feel less of like a house show and feel more like a regular event, and a good one.
Well, man, shit. Apparently, they get a nice little chunk of change for just the one show. I think it's
$50 million every time.
Okay, so the production looks great. It's basically WrestleMania.
WWE gets $50 million from Saudi Arabia to put that show on.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Each time. Yeah, they have a $1 billion deal. They're doing 20 shows over X number of years.
I want to know how much does Butch make?
You gotta take this check and get in this plane.
Like, how much does Logan Paul make? He's got to make a fuck ton of money, man. We talking $3 million?
I'd say $3 million plus.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
I wouldn't say just for that show. I just mean his deal, like, per year.
No, let's just say they just cut a check for the show. For the show, what would you guess?
$3 million.
Really?
He's that big of an attraction. I don't think we're old guys. I don't think we can really understate how famous Logan Paul is. Like, he is.
Yeah, everybody knows who he is.
He is mega famous, and if he can't go at WrestleMania, because the rumblings were that it was going to be Cena Logan Paul at WrestleMania in Hollywood, and that would be a big
match.
That is a big time Hollywood match, man. So I hope he can go. I'm a fan. I've said it before, and this just reiterated it. Like, we've never said a bad word about him on this show really since he had his very first match. We might have said he doesn't understand that he's a heel and he wants to be a babyface, and that's kind of dumb. But in terms of how hard he goes, how well he can wrestle, there's not a negative thing you can say about him.
There's no
he's
doubt.
Probably the best I've ever seen that's only done 3 matches.
Right.
So he's literally done 3 matches, and that was a main event of a major WWE show, which is the biggest promotion in the world, and he killed it.
People
bonkers.
It seems like, Kurt Angle's always the standard bearer for
I was
that.
thinking Brock, but yeah.
People always talk about how, but Brock spent time in OVW and shit. Kurt Angle was. Yeah. He was wrestling in the or whatever the equivalent was of the Performance Center was back then, and he basically came out and he was a fully formed wrestler that was at the top of the card pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd love to hear Kurt Angle talk about Logan Paul. That would really interest me.
No, because
Like,
I mean,
no joke.
No,
Like,
he would be somebody that could probably explain the learning curve.
But Logan Paul wasn't even an amateur wrestler.
I know, and that was the next words out of my mouth. The fact that he hasn't really ever done this and just is a really good athlete, really just it blows the mind just thinking like that how great he did in the match, and then he did it with a banged up knee.
I can't believe you
That's
guys.
crazy.
I can't believe you guys let me skip past it. I said I was doing the scores, and I said you guys were tied for six.
No,
tied for six, and then I just let it go.
No, I think we
Nobody
all,
laughed.
I think we all know.
Nobody laughed.
I think we all know.
You remember when I
Yes, I
said?
do.
Remember when I said last week? I was like, this might be the hardest. Like a lot of these matches could go either way. Both of you guys did fantastic, but old Bill here, old Granddad Bill, Grandma Veggie, he tried to go a little bit against the grain, and he got two. I got two right.
Oh my god!
That is terrible.
So obviously Roman is one, which is the other.
Damage control. Damage control was the other one that I got right. I got everything. We all got we all got the OC wrong,
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
and you guys both picked Alexa and Asuka, and you guys also. I picked Omos. Jesus Christ. I picked Karrion Kross. I picked Lashley. Picked the Brawling. Oh, wait. No, I picked the Brawling Brutes, and I changed it after Zach talked me into it. So I got
Okay,
three
so
right.
three. All right, let's talk about Raw really quick.
Hold on. Let's talk about Braun Strowman just for a second. Because
This
okay,
motherfucker
all right.
here.
So because I do want to talk about Raw, and I could talk about the Austin
So
Theory
you
thing.
two saw the match. Yes. The Braun Strowman
Yeah,
Omos match.
I did. Even though I was replaying it when I had plenty of time, but still, when it came on, I was like, I'm taking a shower. I was like, fuck this. No,
It's 2 PM. Shit, boo.
Braun Strowman tweets a trolly tweet where he says, "How about this? Who would have thunk it, Omos? We got 47 stars. Big guys will always beat the flippity floppy guys," and then he had a bunch of hashtags. Very trolly. Jericho commented on it. Like a bunch of people were retweeting it, quote tweeting it, and then he kind of came back and apologized. Okay, a couple things. First of all, I think that it was a total troll. Second of all, it was a very good troll. Third of all, I think that match, a lot of people are talking about how good it was. The match was garbage. The match was not. It was fine. It was fine, but you could have gone and taken a shower and not missed anything.
I saw the last 5 minutes, okay? I saw the last 5 minutes. God.
It was the best Omos ever looked.
That I'll agree with.
Yeah. But that's totally cool. The only reason but people seem to have liked that match. The only reason that people liked that match is because it was so much different than everything on the card. If it was a card full of Omos's and Braun Strowman's, that would have been the worst match of them all. I'd rather watch Tensai versus Tyson Tomko.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kind of.
I was about to say, you digging up, motherfuckers.
No, I'm just.
Like,
No, I'm just kind of being trolly, I guess.
Are these motherfuckers still alive?
I think so. What do you think about the match, Zach?
Yeah, it was not as terrible as I thought it would be, but it was.
That's a
certainly
ringing
not
endorsement,
classic.
ain't it?
I mean, come on.
I did feel like kind of soiled, like while I watched it. Like I just really needed a shower.
That's why I took mine beforehand, man. Shit, fuck all this. You ain't gonna have me watching this bullshit blood money pay-per-view event and have to watch this shit too.
That's why.
Man, see, I feel icky. I'm gonna go take a shower.
I'll be honest. I don't even remember the Bray Wyatt thing, and I didn't watch it. I wasn't banged up when I watched the rest of the show. I don't even remember it.
It's nothing different than what he's done before in the past, but basically it's Uncle Howdy is basically saying that I don't know why you're fighting you know, the temptation of just going out and wrecking havoc. You know you would like it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Entertainments, yada, yada, yada.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's talk. I mean, it's so I'm sorry. I'm so bored by it already. Jason, let's talk about Raw.
So Raw opened up with the Usos versus the New Day. I thought this was a really good segment on both sides.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
It was great.
Until Riddle came out, and I was just like, Jesus, why Riddle? I mean, I get it. You want to make up the 6-man tag, but just do it after the fact. You know, I like the fact that they were both pointing out why they were, you know, why it was hard for both sides, why both sides felt the record was important to them. Really good opening segment. From there, you had the Usos and Solo Sikoa versus the New Day and Matt Riddle. Bloodline goes over. Not a big deal.
Let's skip to the end.
Let's skip to the end.
Because I feel like this is going to take forever. And I told you, like, I got to drive to work tomorrow. You know, let's... We
Boss got to drive to work tomorrow.
Mia Yim's back. Okay, all right. Let's talk about Austin Theory.
Mia Yim's back. I think that's something to look forward to Survivor Series.
You want to talk about Elias versus Otis?
Not really. No. Let's just skip to the end.
You want to talk about Nikki Cross getting rid of the 24/7 title?
Funny fucking shit because she didn't hit the actual trash can. It hit the ground. And I had to watch that 2 or 3 different times to see that. The Asuka and Io Sky... The translation clip, if you haven't seen that shit, go seek that out. That makes that whole segment even more funny. But let's go jump to the main event.
Before we get there, because now I know. Listen, let me quarterback, okay? Yeah, get rid of your mic. Get the fuck out of here. Leave the computer. Leave the beer. Leave the weed. So, I forgot the Giggle Twins. Vice is here now, so the Giggle Twins are back. I'm going to give you a fucking mic. Zach, is this the end of the 24/7 title? Is that what that was? Is her throwing the 24/7 title in the trash, is that the end of the 24/7 title? Was that what that meant?
That's what I presume.
That's how I took it too, Jason.
That's how I took it too.
Because when she was Nikki ASH, because it could be argued that when she was Nikki ASH, which I don't remember this at all, but I read that when she was Nikki ACH, she was like obsessed with the 24/7 title for a while.
Kind of, yeah. I kind of remember that a little bit.
All right, but anyway.
She was in that mix-up.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like 6 people in that motherfucker. I mean, what the fuck?
Right. It's not like Tozawa came up behind her, grabbed it out of the trash can and ran away with it.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I think that was right in that mix where like it was Tozawa, Reggie, Dana Brooke,
Reggie. God damn.
Yeah, where the fuck did he go? Tamina.
Back to St. Louis.
Welcome home, Reg.
Before we get to Austin Theory, what's more disrespectful to the 24/7 title? Nikki Cross throwing it in the trash, or WWE creative keeping it on Dana Brooke for the last 4 months?
God damn,
Dana Brooke.
shit. Now, look, Dana Brooke on Monday night, it looked, I mean, just physically looked as best as she's ever looked. Obviously, she had the job out. It is what it is.
Her face looks like she's in the Black Hole Sun video.
Okay, well, I mean, damn.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Sorry, that was really
She always
sexist.
looked amazing physically, though.
She looked, you know,
She's got a bod.
yeah. I mean, looked like she lost a little, that fat, a little baby fat or
Dana
whatever.
Brooke, won't you come? All right, so let's talk about Austin Theory. Austin Theory, I'm going to go ahead and give my opinion real fast. I think that this is the worst cash-in of all time, and simultaneously, I think it is probably the best thing for Austin Theory going forward. Jason, what are your thoughts about Austin Theory's failed cash-in on the U.S. title?
If he was going to fail, I would rather him just fail it against Roman and just be done with it. The fact that it was an open challenge is, to me, the biggest issue, and it's probably the first time in the Triple H regime where I'm like, okay, see, this is some Vince shit. An open challenge means basically anybody can answer the open challenge. But if you have bird in hand, why are you going to put the bird out there to get taken away from your own hand.
I have a rebuttal to that. I want to hear Zach's thoughts.
Just that it was bad enough that if I was Austin Theory, as soon as I got done with the match, I would have grabbed my phone to make sure I could still get into my work email because I wouldn't think that my job was done.
I lost. Oh, wait, hang on.
Really? You guys, so you took it as a burial?
No, not at all.
No, it's not even it's not like a burial.
I agree with your second part. That I think is probably the best thing for him going forward under the Triple H regime. But
let me tell you what I would have done. What I would have done was have him try to cash it in on Roman Reigns and also have it be unsuccessful, but have it be so wildly unsuccessful that it was stupid. Like he cashes in, and then ref gets distracted. The Usos give him their finisher. Sami Zayn comes up, gives him the haluva kick. Solo Sikoa beats the shit out of him, and then, even have like Paul Heyman do like a leg drop, and then have Roman Reigns just spear the fuck out of him, and then have him pin and be like, that was the stupidest thing ever. That being said, what they did was kind of in character because he's so fucking dumb. Either A, he didn't know it was an open challenge and he didn't have to cash in his money in the bank to fight for the title, or B, he's so dumb and cocky that he was like, even though it's an open challenge, I am going to cash in my money in the bank because this is me being a big man and I'm not scared of Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley ruined it for him. I don't think it was a burial because it was in the main event slot, and it was actually a pretty compelling segment. It was actually pretty well done and fun to watch.
The crowd was basically mid until that point, and that's when it started to get a little exciting. Is being nice.
Generous to that Wilkes-Barre crowd, and they are taking tons of shit. I've listened to a couple podcasts. Everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with this Wilkes-Barre crowd?
That's what they should. I'll just say this.
Like, they were quiet during that Usos New Day segment, which was tits.
Yeah. I'll take it one step further moving forward. I'm not one of those guys that say that the Money in the Bank needs to be, get disbanded, whatever you want to call it. I just think the last few guys that have won it have done a lot of damage to it to where now people are like, we don't want to see it anymore. And that's totally fair, and I get that. But I think if used correctly, the Money in the Bank is a positive tool that can get people over.
Two here.
Yeah, it's probably the worst booked, best gimmick. It's a great gimmick. It recently, not over the whole course of its history, but recently, I'd say just over the course of this podcast,
yes,
for the most part, has been terribly booked.
Brutal. Brock Lesnar, Otis.
I was looking up the winners, and there's only been one time in the last 5 or 6 winners where it's actually been good. Otis was bad. Brock Lesnar was bad. Austin Theory was bad. I'm trying to remember who the fuck else won it.
Did Strowman win it?
Miz, Seth
Well, Miz won it from Otis.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Probably should have had this ready. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, it is like I said on Friends of BFR on Facebook, it is a really good storytelling tool that they just managed to keep fucking up and fucking up and fucking up. Now, who's going to take it off of Roman? But this is WWE's problem because they booked themselves into a corner by having Roman hold both the belts and having Roman be that dominant. Do we think, Zach, do you think this is a good thing for Austin Theory?
Oh, as far as like career goes and stuff, yeah, like it's like totally fine because him just having that, we knew that he wasn't going to take it off Roman, and now he's like he's like free to do like other things, even though he should have been free to do other things anyway. But yeah, it is good. He wasn't ready for it, or he's not ready for the title. It's just they're kind of putting a lot on him as like a young guy, and it's pretty obvious that Triple H thinks the same. Like Vince was putting like the rocket ship on his back, and Triple H obviously likes him, but he's just like, not yet. You know, that's just kind of what it seems like to me.
Okay, so Big E was good.
Big E was great.
We were good with that. The other one that we were forgetting about was Baron Corbin, who also unsuccessfully cashed in on John Cena.
And clowned
That
on
was
fucking and clowned on Austin Theory afterwards, like, welcome to the club. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I guess moving forward, because now we're getting ready to look at Survivor Series. I'll ask a question. It's kind of obviously related to Raw and, at least one half of the Survivor Series side. On the women's side, Bianca came out and basically challenged Damage Control for a War Games match. Obviously, Damage Control is on one side, and Nikki is going to be with them. You have Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa, so it's going to be 5-on-5. The heels have one spot. The baby faces have two. I'll let you guys go first. One heel spot, two baby faces spot. Who fills those roles?
I can't see Charlotte filling any three of those roles because if Charlotte's going to return as a heel, and I can't see Charlotte hooking up with Damage Control. It just wouldn't make any sense. I don't know. Liv Morgan as a heel. I don't know.
I think Rhea Ripley, if she's not doing a Beth Phoenix something or other.
Well, Rhea Ripley's going to be fighting Mia Yim, right?
I guess there's the $64,000 question. I was going to go Rhea Ripley as the heel representation, but then obviously the Sasha Naomi rumors are now starting to kick up into full gear again, for lack of a better term.
Oh, I forgot about them.
But I would throw an alternate out there. Mia Yim in one spot, Candice LeRae in the other.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Candice has been in a War Game. I think that's good.
And she's
the
most hardcore wrestler out of all of them.
And it makes storyline sense because Damage Control took her out.
Candice LeRae fought dudes for like 3 years.
Okay. So
I mean, she can fucking fight.
And so in this scenario, if you wanted to do it, I just wanted to see where you guys' temperature was on that, and if you had any guesses. Well, like I said, that to me is my guess. I could almost see Candice LeRae flipping and being the fifth member on the heel side, playing the you guys forgot about me in NXT card, blah blah blah. Have her be in the fifth heel, and then that would definitely lock in.
I just
Sasha
wish they
and,
never would have admitted
Naomi.
on the main roster that Gargano and LeRae are married in real life. That should just be it shouldn't even be brought up. They should just be kept separate.
So in kayfabe style, it should never have came up ever.
That would be my wish.
Even in NXT, because it really was an NXT thing first.
Yeah, I know. But,
Okay.
But I mean, NXT's not exactly canon.
I'm not saying that, but this was still in the time of the Black and Gold, where Black and Gold was basically our focus for about a year or so, give or take.
Yeah.
You just can't. Once you take the top off the Genie bottle, you just can't plug it back in. It's already out. So I get what you're saying.
You're supposed to rub it first. I mean, that's a shoot. I mean, you got to rub the Genie bottle first.
All dudes, all laughing.
I don't even know where that came from. Any other thoughts? We're going to have tons of, I guess Survivor Series is the same weekend as Full Gear?
No, it's okay. So this weekend is a nothing weekend for anybody major. Next weekend, the 19th,
Full Gear.
Full Gear. The following weekend, Survivor Series.
All right. Any other main roster thoughts? All right, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count, talking AEW. Friday, we had the return of Katsuyori Shibata versus Orange Cassidy. Just wanted to throw it out there because it was very fun. And Shibata looked really good, which I expect him to. I mean, dude's in the LA dojo training the future. Like, I'm sure he hits the mat and stuff. So, yeah, but that was fun. What did you guys think of it?
Different than what I thought coming in, but ultimately it was really good. I can't sit up here and lie. I'm not going to sit up here and say I've seen a bunch of Shibata matches, and that's one of the things I need to go back and start watching, because now I'm getting to the point where if he can get past this, and I mean, it wasn't like a strong style match by any means, but just getting in the ring, going for 15 minutes, that was a hurdle. Now I'm starting to get a little greedy. I kind of want him to come back and just not even full-time wrestle, but wrestle in scenarios where it matters in New Japan. But ultimately, I thought the match was good. Right guy went over, and Shibata comes out, I'm assuming in full good health, and that ultimately is the biggest thing.
I'm sorry, I did not get a chance to watch it. I was not surprised by the ending, but I heard that Shibata looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
That's the only thing really worth mentioning on Rampage. Well, for the sake of brevity, we can.
No. Hang on. At the end, Wardlow and Samoa Joe have a couple of tense moments that can lead into Dynamite. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. But we had the actual turn on Dynamite. So
yeah,
which was newsworthy.
They fought Gates of Agony, and I was like, wait a minute, Gates of Agony? Isn't that a Pantera song? Like, I was really confused when I read about it. But yeah, go ahead.
That's really good. This was a very solid show for the most part. I really enjoyed this. It opened with a really fun 8-man tag, FTR and the Acclaim versus the Ass Boys and Swerve and Our Glory. And this was good, man. Just really all-out kind of party match. I think with Dax superplex one of the Ass Boys, like off the top to the outside on top of everybody. It was nuts. Just very fun stuff. And we got a little bit of a tease for maybe an FTR acclaimed match, coming down the pike. But this was a fun way to open Dynamite. When I think about Dynamite, I think about a really fun multi-man or like tag match to open the show, like your classic Dynamite, and this fit the mold very well.
Can I make a confession to you guys?
You didn't watch
What's
it?
up?
No, I watched it. I watched it live. The best way to watch Dynamite is to let the first 20 minutes go so you can fast forward through the commercials, and like by the time you're at the main event, you're watching it live. It was like perfect. But the confession is that I am coming around on the Acclaimed.
Holy shit.
Oh.
I'm glad I wasn't having a drink on that one. Holy shit.
And I think...
Welcome to the bandwagon, dude.
I think that I'm coming around on them because I think that they're getting better. They really feel like baby faces, and even the Max Caster rap coming out as a baby face, maybe it's just because they're so over, but like their segments are kind of must see at this point because they are so over. Like they're
arguably the most over act in AEW.
They might be the most over act in AEW ever. Except for like returns, like CM Punk's return and stuff like that.
Right.
But like in terms of like the last 4 weeks,
it's the Acclaims.
Everywhere
for sure.
they go, that place is rocking, man.
Sure.
And I really liked the way they did it when Bowens was getting ready to do the Acclaimed have arrived, and Billy Gunn just comes running through and tackles Swerve. I was like, this is a legit way to start a show. This is a really fun. It felt like Attitude Era Raw. Like it was like this is a really fun way to start a show, and it made me watch an 8-man tag team, which really, because there's no stakes and because it's an 8 team, I'm usually not that into. This was really fun, and I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong in the past. And I think that I was right here because the Acclaim used to suck, but now they're getting good.
Look at him. He's like, I got to get one more in.
What a dick bag. God, I'm such a dick bag.
I say they sucked it one time, but they all right now. Just like little small things from the match itself. Obviously, the end where FTR had to get back the titles to the Acclaim. That's a tease right there. Keith Lee, not giving swerve a pound on the way to the ring, looking, kind of like, apathetic when I had to tag you in. Obviously, more teases there. The match itself, I'm with Bill on this one. Anything more than 6 guys in the ring is starting to get a little out of hand. But in this scenario, it still kept storylines moving, and that's the 2 big storylines.
And I love watching the ass boys get their asses kicked.
That suplex that you were talking about, Two Beer, I was like, "Ooh, no, you're not." Oh, shit! God damn.
Usually, I'm kind of worried, but it was because it was one of them. I was like, man, I guess if he gets hurt, it's no big deal.
It's like they don't even matter. It's like they're not even really people.
Really, clearly in this case, they don't.
Just kidding. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
I was getting ready to say, I'm looking at him like, I'm looking at you.
bullshit.
Go, Two Beer, go.
Then we had MJF was not on the show, but he was on some podcast that I'm not going to promote because it's not my fucking podcast. So,
That's right. God damn it.
It's also stupid when they kept talking about how it's the biggest podcast in the world. It's like, whatever.
Fuck, I ain't heard this shit before.
It's Barstool, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I was fully unfamiliar.
I think
with it.
Pardon My Take is a Barstool podcast that's like a take on Pardon the Interruption. It's like,
all right. So not only are you not unoriginal, okay, now you're
also Barstool, and Barstool can fuck off. Fuck all the way.
You stole my
off,
thunder.
I fucking hate Barstool.
That's my dog.
Fuck, I hate Barstool.
That's my dog.
Find me, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a you made the list drop coming up because this list of people that can come find Bill is getting longer and longer every week.
It's like my new thing.
I know.
Murray Man said he's going to make a shirt.
I know. I'm like, dude, it can't be a shirt. It's going to have to be like a fucking blanket at this point. Go ahead.
Just everybody I've called out on the back of it. It's like Eddie Kingston, Sammy Guevara, Two Beer, Zach Pullman, Dave Portnoy, Jason Bell.
JCB. I was like, where the fuck am I at this point? I mean, damn, I'm like the 5th guy.
No,
like,
you're number 1.
Thank you. I'm the small guy. I'm supposed to lead off. I'm black. I got speed.
They're all written in lipstick on a legal pad.
Yeah.
Is that Billy Madison when old boy's coming off and he wipes the shit?
Come find me, Jason Bell, for Great Deal at Jack Patrick's. I'm barely going to charge you anything.
Right. I'm about to say, is Bill here? Damn.
All right. But yeah, the MJF promo was phenomenal. It was essentially him cutting a monologue. And I mean, he's always good, but this was next level good. I mean, the dude pretty much said that he always says like generational talent, but in this case, like he named the generational talents, Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair.
I loved how he broke down how each time it was supposed to be his big coming out party, how it got overshadowed.
Yes.
Like that was so fucking good.
It was perfect. And he is not wrong. The only thing he omitted was whenever he overshadowed Wardlow's big night. But that would be an omission that you would make. But yeah, between him like convincing you that you are going to see history when he takes this title, and he managed to insult Moxley by calling him stupid, by calling him unathletic, by calling him uncharismatic. He's like, but then he put him over. He's like, but somehow you took all those things and you worked really hard and you became the best damn professional wrestler in the world. And
pro wrestling 101, man.
Yeah, you never want to break down your opponent. So
maybe Britt Baker can take a couple lessons. Like, no shit.
Yeah. Well, you have like, if you go to film school, they'll often give you Back to the Future as a script to study because it's like the perfectly written film script. It's so tight. It's such a good script. Like, this is a promo that you would give to someone aspiring to be pro wrestling promos and be like, here you go, study this.
I get your car towed all the way across town, and all you got for me is light beer. Say hi to your mom for me.
Right? Say, what the fuck? What'd you say about my mama, man?
After he wrecks George's car.
Right.
It's so perfect.
I'll say this.
Big Biff Tannen fan.
I'm glad next week is the week for predictions for Full Gear, because this promo just made me even more confused about who I think is going to win. Who I want to win is Jon Moxley. I want him, and I've said this on the pod multiple times, I want him to have a nice little run, 6-month run, take all challenges on, blah, 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 blah.
Jon Moxley wants to go on a 3-week vacation to the White Lotus, dude. He wants to give it up.
Right.
Poor bastard.
And this feels like right time, right place. The stars are aligning. I guess the question that I've had, and I will still have up until when Full Gear happens, William Regal is the wild card. And I will continue to say this. I don't think MJF is playing – he's playing a good babyface right now. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. But I really think that William Regal is the wild card, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. I don't want to take over Zach's count, but we can't talk about this heads of the coin without talking about the tail of the coin, which was Jon Moxley's promo later on, which I agree with what Zach said, that this MJF promo, it just proves that, like, he can play all different types of ball.
Which is good moving forward.
Oh, yeah. He was like, this was not necessarily a heel promo, but this was a simmering, pissed off, not in front of a crowd, looking straight at the camera. Even though he was on a radio show or a podcast, he was looking straight at the camera the whole time. This was a simmering, pissed off, believable, very believable wrestling promo. And then I was like, man, that was a great MJF promo. And then
it's game on.
And then Moxley came out, and Moxley's babyface promo just rebutted it so fucking perfectly. I mean, Jon Moxley is just a fucking. I mean, he is the best pro wrestler.
He's a gem to AEW right now. He is his steadying force.
His
of all this other bullshit
his
going on.
His tone was right. Like, he was kind of like affable at the beginning and kind of like bemused at MJF and like the story they told about Regal. He's like, and then you put me down, Regal. He's like, and you put me through pain. And it was just, he's like, who's that remind you of? And then Regal says off mic, MJF. And then when Moxley started making fun of MJF for calling himself the devil, I was in full blown mark out moment. Like, I was like, that is fucking awesome. When Moxley says, I've seen the devil. I've seen people do terrible things. He's like, I know the devil. He's like, you're not the devil. And then the way he closed it off where he says, after we're done at Full Gear, you're going to realize that everything you've been up to this point
was easy.
And then mic drop. Mic drop. And Jason kind of stole my thunder here. I am basically 100% convinced that we are going to see a heel turn from William Regal. He is going to switch to MJF. I don't know if it's going to be into the Blackpool Combat Club, but MJF is going to go over Jon Moxley because Jon Moxley wants to go on vacation, A, but B, because they've been telling a spectacular story with this thing ever since that banger, which might be my promo of the year, probably is my promo of the year thus far, which was the Regal MJF in-ring promo.
Agreed.
Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that they're definitely telegraphing it, and I think it would be good because just imagine Regal, like heel Regal, because he's great at whatever he does, especially talking. Imagine heel Regal, like on commentary on the rare occasions that MJF is in the ring, because he's not in the ring all that
he
much.
never wrestles.
But that said, I don't know how much Blackpool Combat Club merch is moving. That's a very cool group. I remember being so excited.
Yeah.
And it still is exciting because it is a very exclusive elite group. But they don't, like, I think Bill has said this before, they don't do anything together. You see Yuta doing stuff maybe, with Claudio, or might work a tag match, but like none of those guys, especially because they keep Moxley kind of separate from it because he's the champ, they're not out doing like 6-man and 8-man tags. Like, they totally could be.
We haven't
that's
seen
a way to get all those guys on TV.
We haven't seen Moxley and Danielson on screen together in probably 2 months.
I never tripped off with it until you said it last week, and then this week, I was really like, okay, who's coming out with who? What's going on? And when Regal
comes out with all
Moxley,
of them.
No, Regal came out with Moxley on the
that's
promo.
What tipped me off.
That's why I was like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
What's going on? I'm looking. I'm just looking for any little fucking evidence.
That's what tipped me off. That I was like, that's what really drove it into my prediction. I was like,
seen
Moxley
Regal
comes out by himself
all the time.
Moxley comes out, well, especially when he cuts a promo. Moxley comes out by himself. Regal will be on commentary during Moxley matches, and Moxley, as opposed to MJF, Moxley wrestles all the time, and bleeds all the time.
Devil's advocate twice. Daniel Bryan bled. We'll talk about that. And
I can't wait to talk about that match.
And William Regal is on every Blackpool Combat Club commentary.
Yes.
So to keep if you're going to do the heel turn, you're keeping everything up to par up to this promo where Regal came out with John Moxley. Now I'm like, well,
even the Two Beers point where he says that they're an elite group, like they're such a elite group of dudes, but they're never really together. Even when Danielson was cutting that backstage promo, I'm just putting these away for now.
Oh,
damn. Even when Danielson was cutting that backstage promo about fighting Sammy Guevara, he called out about the disrespect from Wheeler Yuta. Like, he's calling out disrespect from a guy in his own group. He's not calling out disrespect. Right. It's not just Daniel Garcia. He was like, the disrespect I received from Wheeler Yuta. Right. And it's like, that's kind of weird because that's supposed to be his boy.
But
you never see them together.
But
I'm just all together. You never see them all together.
Is he wrong?
No.
Okay. Two Beer, go.
All right. So in between that, we had check notes. Oh yeah, Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page. Ethan Page goes over, distraction finish. Took this crazy bump. Whatever the razor's edge off the top rope.
They call it the avalanche razor edge. Yeah, that was. Whew.
Yeah. But they protected Kingston here. He got a visual tap out.
Right.
But I don't think anybody was surprised. Ethan Page has been on TV a lot lately. I could see him winning this whole tournament.
Now, I was going to say, this is one of the few matches that I would say that was a slam dunk winner as soon as I saw it, especially when you had Ethan Page taking out John Moxley, like Bill said, leading up to this tournament last week. As much as, Eddie Kingston is a fan of this show and he loves him some Bill Vagey, I'll just say this. This was the Stone Cold Lock of the Week, and we should have said this as soon as the bracket came out. I'm a huge Ethan Page fan. I am. I'm not even going to be apologetic about it. I love me some Ethan Page. I just think that this is the one time where if John Moxley is going to retain, you have someone set up for him ready to go. And that's always been my biggest problem with WWE up until this point where now they're doing a little better. You haven't set up the next guy to be ready for the champion. If John Moxley beats MJF, Ethan Page is going to be waiting around the corner so you can have that. If MJF wins, you still have that Ethan Page storyline where the firm flipped on MJF. So once again, as much as we bang on Tony Khan from time to time, this makes storyline sense and it connects the dots.
This was a really good match. The finish was unbelievable. I will say that when I think about the power of the human mind and the susceptibility and vulnerability of the human mind, I've completely worked myself into a shoot about Eddie Kingston because I took something really small that I read that Eddie Kingston said, and I just decided to go off on it because I was like, man, fuck him. I'm not allowed to say shoot and I'm not allowed to say work just because I'm a fanboy and I'm not one of the boys backstage. And because it's a bit going on, like with Ethan Page came out against Eddie Kingston, I was like, "Fuck Eddie Kingston! I don't hate Eddie Kingston. I think it's pretty cool. Actually, I've always been a fan of his, but I have
this
worked.
Is not what I expected.
I've completely worked myself into a shoot about it. I've also called Ethan Page a buster on many occasions. But I was like, fuck yeah, go all ego Ethan Page. Get his ass. Like, I like them both. I think they're both hella talented.
Jesus Christ.
A little peek behind the curtain.
What the fuck?
But see, the thing is, like, I understand what's happening in my brain, and I can't stop it. I'm still like, fuck Eddie Kingston. I don't hate Eddie Kingston. Guess I do now.
No, I don't think we know what your stance on Eddie Kingston is at this point. I was so waiting for this. Waiting for this, patiently waiting for this moment. When Eddie Kingston got beat, I was like, oh, Bill's gonna act a fucking fool on Thursday.
I really have worked myself into a shoot. Like, there's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it.
This is how people ended up at the Capitol on January 6th.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. This is why flat earthers exist. They work themselves into a shoot, and that's exactly what I've done here. In fact, man, like, hang Mike Pence. I don't give a fuck. Wait, do we have to cut that?
Oh, God damn it!
No, I was quoting what they said. We don't have to cut this out, do we?
We're going to have to go to HR on this one. Jesus Christ.
I'm kidding.
You don't have to worry about
time
driving
is
to work tomorrow.
You're fucking fired.
All right, moving on.
Dan from Ringside.
Oh, wait.
B-A-N.
So you guys remember how I told you guys that they were doing the background check for me at the new job, and that
Jesus.
the wife asked me, like, what if they discover your podcast? So the background check comes in clean last Friday, so I had to put in my last day at my old job. I go in to Erin and I say, I got my background check back.
Oh, you ain't shit.
And she was like, well, what happened? I go, they found the podcast. Completely deadpan. And she looked at me like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
She thought it was serious.
Right.
And then the next words
I would wish I would have fly on the wall.
The next words out of her mouth, she goes, so what now? I was like, they didn't find a fucking podcast. I was like, I have no felonies, knock on wood. Like, I was like, we're fucking good. I got the job.
The funny thing is that she thinks the podcast is so bad that even if they found it, that you would have lost your opportunity for this job.
What
which is so funny.
No, this is actually what I said. I go, they found the podcast, and she's like, so what now? I was like,
right. So we're fucked. Basically now we're fucked.
I go, apparently I said the N-word a couple months ago.
Oh my God.
Jason wasn't here.
I was like, no, you were here. You were probably like goading me into it. You're like, hey, when will they shoot?
I got the Ice Cube lyrics for this one, boys and girls. No, and I love the fact that your wife is very, very invested in what's going on. But I mean, it's not like you see us on YouTube on the weekly basis. We are not that pod. I mean, goddamn.
Let her be invested in your shit, dude.
Two beer, go.
Anyway, what's
next?
Right.
Open challenge. Wardlow ended up taking on Ari Daivari. But the real story of this is he calls out Powerhouse Hobbs after he squashes him. Powerhouse Hobbs is on the ramp, and Samoa Joe attacks Wardlow from behind.
No. Let's call it for what it is. Wardlow said he would take all the titles in AEW.
That's what he said.
And then
he did.
He took one in the back of the
Samoa
neck.
Joe was pissed.
I guess.
Perfect.
I guess I'm just not as invested in the intricacy of this story. Like, I didn't really think Ward Joe was like.
It seemed like
but a name anyway.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was a means to an end just to get Wardlow and Joe into a feud together. What I liked,
the crowd popped to the turn.
Yeah, so. And what I liked about this segment, Samoa Joe is a fucking stud and the perfect guy to put Wardlow over. What I liked about this segment is that Powerhouse Hobbs never saw it coming and looked at Joe and he goes, I'll get you too. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we got some big meaty men slapping meat.
And it's a
Are
Bill
we doing
Veggie.
a three-way?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Bill Veggie triple threat special. The only, and I don't even say I have a problem with it. The only thing that could be an issue, quote unquote, I guess if you're going to have Wardlow going this route and pushing Joe aside to get to Powerhouse Hobbs, I would almost want to see the Powerhouse Hobbs match happen first and Joe get the winner. Either way, doesn't matter. We're going to, like you said, be big meaty men slapping meat in a triple threat.
The Joe Wardlow thing is a good story. Just seems like it went fast forward. It seems like they could have taken another month to tell it.
Okay, or you could have did it a different way.
Well, yeah. I mean,
title versus title, you could have did it that way if you wanted to do it like that. You could have flipped Joe heel before you got to this point. Either way, this made sense because Wardlow kept disrespecting Joe time after time after time. You ain't gonna keep putting your hands on me to get to Powerhouse Hobbs. You can walk around me, but you ain't gonna push me. And that happened twice. The third strike was when he said, I can take all the titles in AEW. Okay, fuck you. Bow.
I'll tell you what. We had that talk last week about who would win in the fight, you versus Carl Anderson or me versus Eddie Kingston.
I'll take Carl Anderson right now.
Samoa Joe would kick all four of our asses at the same time.
Well,
like
duh.
that guy is legit. He is scary, and I love Samoa Joe. He is legitimately scary.
Yes, for sure.
He would do it before his ice cream melted.
I was just like, fuck it, man. You got me, dog.
Man.
I'm tapping right now.
That comedian Dan St. Germain, who we interviewed at All In, when he said that Samoa Joe's WWE music sounded like the theme music for somebody walking into McDonald's after they fucked up their drive-through order, was the funniest fucking joke. God,
dude. I had it on my Spotify for like a hot minute, and then as soon as
you can't hear it any other way.
I can't. Nope. I was like, nope.
It doesn't sound cool anymore.
I was like, it's got to go. It's got to go.
I don't want to skip past, and maybe I had these out of order, but I don't want to skip past the Roosh Dark Order segment.
That's next.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Go right ahead.
Well, Roosh was talking shit to
10.
Yeah, 10. And then
okay, there you go. You stole my first starter off the bat. Go ahead.
No, when John Silver was standing there, like after the whole exchange, and all John Silver said was, "Whatever, Roosh bag." And like that made Roosh so mad.
I was like, dude, it's not even that funny, but it's kind of fucking funny. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
you know it's gonna
It's
stick.
funny. That's all that John Silver said for the entire segment, and like that was enough to like.
It's not gonna be
piss Roosh off
Uzi.
so much.
It's not gonna be Uzi, but it's gonna be the next tier down. When Roosh comes out on Friday night, Roosh bag. If you don't do it,
know.
you're fucking horrible as a crowd. Come on.
That killed me. He's just standing there the whole time, really quiet. He goes, "Whatever, Roosh bag."
John Silver's good. I like John Silver.
I mean,
he's never gonna be.
I would root for him
against
against All Ego, Ethan Page, and Eddie Kingston at this point.
Okay, and there is the heel turn again.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite wrestler after that line. It killed me.
Go ahead, Tubi.
It absolutely killed me.
Go.
Next biggest thing, I think, would be the women's segment where we had Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker in the ring, and there was a lot of good in this. I think it was an excellent segment in a vacuum as far as crowd reaction, getting heat on a match. We had the official announcement that Saraya is back to wrestling. If you're a Saraya fan, then that's a big deal for you. We're going to see her in a match at Full Gear. But I feel like this is kind of more fire. As weird as Saraya's entrance in the AEW has been, and maybe uneven, lackluster, this does feel like the biggest thing to happen to the division in a long time. So I like the segment. I especially loved Britt Baker's line where she says, You just walk in here like you own the place. Well, we don't take walk-ins. Make an appointment, bitch.
I was like, whoa. Hell.
So good. But I do not like the Saraya big timing, because she was in WWE. Punk did the same shit. I feel like, some of the guys from WWE have avoided that, very well, that were bigger stars than Saraya was. And I feel like I know she's got like this elevated thing because, the whole movie and all that, but maybe I just didn't watch her on her, like, it's not that important to me, like her being here. But if it elevates the division, actually, if the match is good, because even though she's cleared, she's got to be good, because there's a high threshold that, I'm paying $50 for this shit, and like AEW pay-per-views are real good, so I'm hoping that the match is good. But overall, I mean, pretty good segment. I could just do without the constant, like, I was in WWE, so I'm so much bigger deal than anybody here scenario. I think Punk put a really bad taste in my mouth with the press conference, and I noticed it anytime it happens on the show where they act like WWE is the bigger deal.
Well, there's that famous segment amongst marks like us where The Rock basically did that to Booker T and buried Booker. But the accusation is that he buried Booker T when Booker T came over from WCW the first time, and Sting famously said, and I say famously in quotation and scare quotes because when I was watching Logan Paul with my brother the other night, I went off on a tangent about wrestling, and he was like, you keep talking about these things that are famous. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I was like, yeah, it's famous amongst wrestling fans, but like,
that's when you should hit me up.
Sting always said, well, that's when we hit the up, and then
enough said. Then don't hit me up. We be talking for 3 hours.
I put my finger to my nose, Zach, just in case you're wondering what I did. But that was why Sting always said that he wouldn't go to WWE, is because he said he didn't want to be treated the way that Booker T got treated by The Rock. And I pretty much agree with everything that Two Beer just said. I do think that this is a huge deal for the division because Britt Baker, if you don't count Jade Cargill, is the head of that division. She is the star of that division, and Saraya is a big deal. But here's the irony of it, though, is that Saraya is a big deal because she came from WWE. She was never really that big of a deal in WWE. Like, she was the head of that. I mean, who were her people? Was it Liv and... No, it was Mandy
Becky,
Rose and...
No, it was Becky, Charlotte, and Paige. They were PCB or some crazy shit, whatever.
No, that wasn't it, though. Was it?
Yeah, that was the faction.
It wasn't Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose?
No, it was Paige, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte.
Well, that didn't last very long then.
A lot of them didn't. I mean, you had Team Bad where you had Sasha.
And there was the Riot Squad, which was
Sarah
Mandy
Logan.
Rose.
No, it was Sarah Logan. It was Ruby Riott, obviously, and Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan.
Fuck. Okay. All right. Well, this is a big deal. It also... I have my problems with Britt Baker because I don't think that Britt Baker does a very good job of putting her opponents over, and I think that that's a real problem, especially if you're going to be the big dog in the division. Doesn't seem to have affected anything, but I do think this is a big deal, and it's a match that I want to see. Basically, to me, the women's division in AEW hasn't gotten better since that Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match that closed out Dynamite one night. That was like it wasn't a cage match, but it was some sort of stipulation.
An unsanctioned lights out match.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the title, but...
and it fucking ruled.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Jason?
I'll go like this. Props to Britt Baker. She said what she needed to say as Britt Baker, because you can't be coming over to WWE into the house, quote unquote, that I built and not take a little shit. Props to Saraya. you know, I put this shit out there before you even thought you were a twinkle in the eye talking about wrestling. You know, props both sides. I'll go like this.
She said, Saraya said, "This is my house," and Britt Baker says, "You didn't lay one brick."
As well, she didn't.
Yeah. Check
to Britt. But on the flip side, Saraya's been doing this for a while. I've been doing this since I was 17. I've been traveling the roads. Tony Khan's been giving you this, all this other shit. Check to Saraya. This is the first promo where I've actually been invested, where I've now wanted to see the match. All that being said, I have a huge problem with you guys saying that.
Oh, shit. Go ahead. Keep going.
I got a huge problem with you guys saying that this is the.
Your call has been forwarded to an.
This motherfucker.
Yeah, so I think Zach. Oh. Hey, we're rolling. Keep going, Jason.
This is not the crowning jewel of the women's division. If it is, then it's a problem with the booking. You got a nice little roster of talent, and you're not doing anything with them. There's basically 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe a fifth, and I'll count Thunder Rosa as the fifth woman that's on the outside looking in because she's not active right now. You got 4 women running this division. Doesn't it sound familiar? It sounds like WWE. We've always been
They're trying to sell pay-per-views, though. If they're trying to sell pay-per-views, they're trying to make the...
Okay, so then we can't talk about Britt being the center of the division and then on the flip side of it, be mad about them selling pay-per-views. It can't be both. It has to be one or the other.
Well, I'm just saying that Britt Baker versus Saraya is bigger than Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida for the 1,000th time.
Wow.
Or no?
No.
This is the biggest match you can make.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Two Beer, but then leading up to this point, what you've done to this point is the problem. You haven't.
So you're putting the whole system on trial.
Damn, Skippy, call me Al Pacino up in this motherfucker. You have not done what you're supposed to do up to this point.
Attica.
Okay, let's start throwing some shit. I haven't seen fucking Athena in God knows how long. The last time I saw her, she was getting worked over by Jade on the pay-per-view. It was 5 minutes and it was over. We haven't seen her on AEW since.
She ain't as big of a star as Saraya either.
That's not the point. My point is, you can take the mic from this point on. When you got
take
a
the mic
roster,
from you.
Come on over here and try to get this motherfucker.
Bo, go get him.
You can try to have a division if you want to, but if it's still centered on these 4 women, then you can't complain about on one side, it's all about these 4 women. On the flip side, it's going to be about pay-per-views. It can't be both sides in this scenario. Sometimes you can have things where both sides can be true. In this scenario, you can't, especially when you got talent that is chomping at the bit to get on pay-per-view TV. Dare I say just on TV alone.
Did you say chomping?
Chomping.
There's an L in there?
Chomping.
Chomping?
Chomping.
I just want to have a technical note right here. This is no joke. Zach's phone just cut out. We tried calling each other back a couple times. He may only be on the left side of your headphones or of your car or wherever you're listening to this. That is not intentional, and I know that it's fucked up, but I don't think that we'll be able to fix it. So we're just going to keep going. Sorry for the inconvenience. No, I'm serious. Like I know this. I just want to say that I know that's happening, and I just hung up on him and tried to call him back so we could get it going, but it's not working. So hope you guys, if you're listening to it on headphones, get your left headphone in. If you feel like listening to Zach, if you feel like having dead air when Zach is talking, which granted that happens sometimes.
That's some fucked up shit, dude. We were just talking about putting people over. Now you just didn't put your boy over. What the fuck is
Actually,
that?
for some people, this is not a bug; it's a feature.
All right, what was next?
I guess the next biggest thing we could talk about is. I don't spend too much time on it, but it's just kind of annoying. We had the Jay Lethal match with Trent Beretta, and then that leads to Jeff Jarrett being on television again, which is because we're leading to a match with Jarrett and Lethal versus Sting and Darby, which is totally fine. I am totally fine with that, but this crowd could not give two shits about what Jeff Jarrett had to say, and I didn't either. I was just like, dude, I like Jeff Jarrett. I just don't need him on AEW television on Dynamite. Like, put it on Rampage or something. I know you're going to build the match, but just say that the match is happening, and I feel like that's enough for that match.
Jason's raising his hand. Go ahead, Jason.
Can I say this is my Stone Cold Lock of the Week for Full Gear right now?
Yeah, you can always put in your Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week.
This is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week. I got Sting and Darby Allin beating Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
Okay, there's a couple things I want to say about this segment.
We need to have it like
I'm fine with Lethal going over Beretta, whatever. They bring out Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, he talked about Sanjay Dutt having an IQ of 181, which I thought was funny. He talked about how he discovered Jay Lethal, basically signed Jay Lethal when nobody else had signed him. He looked at Satnam Singh, and he said, Satnam Singh is one of the billion. He's the only person from India to ever make it to the NBA. Which, listen, if you're a glass half full type of guy, that might sound like a guy putting over Satnam Singh. To me, it sounded like he buried all of India.
Stop. You ain't shit.
There's a billion.
Damn.
I mean, he really
Stop.
like,
Jesus
it's like none of these Indian guys can get a fucking ticket to the NBA. There's a billion of them.
Come on, man. God damn. Okay, so if you're going to ask if that was racist, you got to ask the question.
Unless you're slinging garlic naan or you got a wicked jump shot. What you say?
This is why I'm like, oh, what can we do about getting this podcast bigger? What can we do? Stop
saying racist shit.
Amongst other things.
Well, I mean, the thing that Jeff Jarrett said, the next thing that Jeff Jarrett said, I had to write it down. He said that Satnam Singh is an actual giant, not some big guy in red skinny jeans produced by a bananas nose circus.
Shots fired.
So is that okay? So
no, there ain't no question.
My first
Shots
thought,
fired.
I thought about this for a long time today.
I was in the shower. Oh yeah, I came back out and saw that shit. Yeah, that's Braun Strowman right there.
I thought about this for a long time today because I was like, but the red skinny jeans is clearly referring to Braun Strowman, right?
You think skinny jeans?
All right,
Braun Strowman's 350.
Pretty good line. As long as it's not man, this is gonna make me sound racist.
Do it.
My first thought was, is that like anti-Semitic? Is he like making fun of Jews? And then I thought, no, he's making fun of Triple H, calling him a bananas nose. I mean,
that nose is big. Let's just call it for what it is.
Now listen, I'm not anti-Semitic. I just know that there is a
that's a big ass nose.
There's a stereotype of Jewish people about their noses, and
is he Jewish?
It's gone on. I don't think so, but
okay.
But my first thing was not about Triple H. My first thing was like the global cabal. I was like, is he talking about how Jews are in charge of WWE or something? And then I thought about, but Triple H doesn't manage Braun Strowman though either.
What?
He's not his manager.
He runs creative, but go ahead.
All right. So does this sound anti-Semitic to you?
Not at all.
No.
It was a total.
My thought.
Oh.
Oh yeah. That's anti-Semitic. Oh yeah.
Sure. My bad. Yeah. When he said it, I was like, I knew he was talking about right away. It was a shot on Braun Strowman.
Listen, there's tons of racism I get. The anti-Semitic thing I do not.
Okay,
get.
Well that's no.
Lots of other stuff.
Okay, here's a quick question. I'm gonna throw it out there and just take the temperature of the pie.
God, I hope people at the new job do not listen to this podcast.
Just never.
I work with a lot of people of color.
Yeah, just never bring it up.
Okay. Lots of them.
AEW took a shot at WWE on Wednesday. Queer shot. We see this. Is that a problem with you if promotions take shots at the other? AEW takes shots at WWE and vice versa. Do you have a problem with that, Bill? Go.
Of course not.
Two beer.
I just don't want it to be overt. I also don't mind it. I also don't mind it when MJF brings up WWE. Like, don't talk to us like we're idiots. Everybody knows that they both exist. So I don't mind
WWE's major.
It is funny to me that Jeff Jarrett was the referee of the Usos match at SummerSlam. I mean, it was like 3 months ago, and now he's calling Triple H a banana nose circus leader or whatever the fuck he called him.
Wow, I totally forgot about that.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
He was the referee.
It was the end of August.
Actually, shout out to...
it was less than 3 months.
Shout out to Jinder Mahal. He sent me a meme where basically...
You mean another banana nose manager?
Wow.
I mean, Jinder Mahal's got a great looking nose. He knows I'm kidding.
Sorry, Tinder. I'm trying to get us back on track for 30 seconds.
He's gonna text me. He's gonna love it. Joey O'Farrell is gonna love it. I promise.
Jeff Jarrett's been in WWE, AEW. I think he's in GCW this year.
Calling Triple H a banana nose.
I'm like, God damn! You just got this check cleared, right? You banana nose motherfucker.
Calling Triple H a banana nose is fucking hilarious. That is like, so good.
Shots
banana
fired.
Nose. He does it.
I don't even give a fuck about Jeff Jarrett.
He's got a huge banana nose.
That's The Rock. I just saw that the other day, and I'm gonna get us back on track for 30 seconds.
Sorry, I'm letting it go.
I love the fact that Rock was like, and the game wants to come to the ring. I was like, dude, this is why I love The Rock. Right there. Perfect. Go to beer, go.
All right, we're going to cut everything out from back when I said hang mic pins. Go ahead, Zach.
So anyway, MJF cut a really great promo. No, sorry, you're cut it out. Okay, never mind.
I don't have the time anymore. God damn it.
Yeah, the rest of it, pretty unassuming. I mean, we don't spend time talking about it. 2 out of 3 falls match though was real good. And again, this is why I say this was a really good episode of AEW Dynamite, was because it was bookended with a fantastic main event and an opening party match and some awesome promo segments in between and some wacky shit and some shit that didn't matter. It's a variety show. It was a really good episode of TV.
I'll just say this. For the 2 out of 3 falls of the main event, I love the fact that it's 2 out of 3 falls. I'm a huge fan of it. But the first 2 falls were WWE-ish at best. First fall, you had the DQ where Sammy throws the chair into Daniel Bryanson's head, and you have the instant color, which I love. I love me some color in wrestling. I don't give a fuck where it is. But then, like 5, 6, 10 minutes afterwards, you had a second fall. So for me, that's why I was like, okay, so now we're just eliminating the fact that we're having a 2 out of 3 falls match, and then we had the one match, the third fall, which was the match that you want to see anyway. Just have a second match. Just do a fucking trilogy. This is what we want. These 2 guys are great in the ring, and they have great chemistry together. It's like styles make fights. Okay, and I said it when they did it 2 weeks ago. Daniel Bryanson in this scenario with Sammy Guevara can do whatever you want me to do. But if you want to jump off some crazy shit and do some shit, that's you. I'm going to keep this shit on the ground and go back and see my babies. That to me is the issue. I'd rather them, if the way they booked it to me is the biggest problem. I don't want to see quick falls on the first 2 falls and then have a great match on the third fall. Just have it a fucking 1 fall match, TV time limit if it's available, and just run that shit and just have it where, now in this scenario, Bryan Danielson has won both matches, and then whatever happens from full gear, you just figure it out from that point.
They need to keep Bryan Danielson strong. I don't mind him winning this, and I don't mind the way that they booked it. I think that you can call it WWE, or you can just call it smart booking. Like having a 2 out of 3 falls match, it might be a little classic, but classic ain't bad. Having the heel get DQ'd for the first fall and then trying to win the next two, that is the way that heels have thought about best 2 out of 3 matches for a long time. It's not WWE booking. They were probably doing that back in the territories.
No. I'm not talking about, the psychology behind it. I'm just talking about time limit. It was the first fall was like 6 minutes. The next fall was like 10 minutes.
Okay, I get
So then from that point, you can just take that away and have that match.
I was surprised when they had that match go on, the Jamie Hayter match go on at the half hour.
That's what they do.
I know, because I wanted the Sammy Guevara Bryan Danielson match to last longer. That being said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the fucking world. You can make arguments for guys in New Japan, and certainly I could too, and people can. You can make arguments for the best. Well, or Okada. I mean, or Naito, or Will Ospreay, or all these guys.
He's only saying this because he didn't get a chance to watch the Ospreay match.
I can't. I hope that's true. But Bryan Danielson is. He can take any match and make it must see by the end of it. And most of the times when I'm watching wrestling and I'm not partaking in any mind altering substances,
which is rare.
No, that's not true. During the week,
I'm sorry, that's me.
During the week, it's very common. Actually, I'm usually looking at Twitter too, or I'm reading something also, or like I have a second screen going, or I'm reading a book at the same time. I'm telling you what, when Bryan Danielson is fighting, last 10 minutes of the match, I'm watching the fuck out. Like I can't be distracted by anything because that's how into it I am.
There was a 10-minute time limit for the Daniel Bryan match. It's like ding 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 ding. All right, you need to start paying attention now.
Listen, I wish that you would start taking this conversation seriously.
I apologize.
I am
pretty much anytime Bryan Danielson's on screen, Bill feels the cleanest he's ever felt, and he's like, I don't ever need to shower again.
Bryan Danielson has never had a shower match in the history of his entire career. I love how this is a new thing. That
it's the shower match.
It's the shower match.
I'm sorry, man. Look,
I love this, and I also want to say another thing. Like Sammy Guevara. He showed his ass a couple of weeks ago with those tweets at Andrade, and it's gonna be a long time before I'm ever.
Andrade 3-pieced him up. What do you want? What do you want?
Listen, I'm saying though, like he showed his ass so. Like I don't care if Andrade beat him up. It's just always going to be. I'm always going to look at him a little bit differently. I'm always going to be like, man, look at this fucking little shit ass. Like he's obviously good. That's the thing. He's obviously good. He's
obviously,
great. He's great.
Okay, we were talking about Vikingo the other night. We were talking about Ray Phoenix.
Oh, you mean my wrestler of the year?
Okay. And Sammy Guevara should be in that same sense. They all can do the same thing.
Yes.
And just take over a match at any given point.
Let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my thought. Sammy Guevara went to do a thing where Danielson was sitting on top of the turnbuckle, and Sammy Guevara went to just do one of those things where he hops up on the middle ropes, and then he was going to do a superplex on him or something. And he missed it. And there was a bunch of fucking dorks our age, look a lot like me, beards, glasses, we're probably wearing hats, wearing T-shirts, and they all stand up and they all start chanting at Sammy Guevara, you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up. And I put this on Friends of BFR, I put it on Twitter. Okay. You're allowed to, if you buy your ticket, you're allowed to boo, cheer, chant, whatever the fuck you want, within reason. You're not allowed to racial slur or whatever like that, But if you buy a ticket to a show and these guys, and we've seen what can happen to these guys, and I'm not trying to get all serious, but we've seen what can happen to these guys in the last few years, like especially Hangman Page just a couple weeks ago. Like,
haven't seen him since.
Got knocked the fuck out. And these guys are putting it on the line, and they're putting on the show from you, and you pay your $30, and you pay your $30 for the right to stand up and chant, you fucked up, to these guys that are way more talented than you and have put in way more work than you've ever put in anything, and they are currently fucking Ty Mello, and you're going to chant you fucked up at them? You're a fucking loser, and you should stop going to fucking you should stop going to fucking wrestling shows, you fucking losers.
That too. Give you props and hit that motherfucking button.
Chanting you fucked up. It's a professional wrestler that's out there, and the thing is like a guy like Sammy Guevara so rarely fucks up that it stands out so much when he does miss a rope, just barely. And then you're going to stand up and chant, you fucked up, after you drink 2 Miller Lights in the car, and now you're drinking Sprite so you can drive home to your shitty job? Fuck you, you fucking idiots.
You jokers, you're on the list too. I totally agree with you.
Come find me, losers.
I totally agree with you. I'm like, look.
And they were in Boston, too. You know they got fucking Goodwill Hunting on their fucking
that's what I was DVDs
in the town. Actually, the town fucking rules.
I always want to say, I want to go to Fenway. I want to see a game in Fenway. I'm like, and then as soon as I see that shit, I'm like, no, I don't.
You those pieces of
shit. Exactly. And this is the reason why.
Go walk into the fucking Narragansett Bay, you losers.
Sammy Guevara.
I don't even know if that's geographically correct.
No, it's probably not. Sammy Guevara literally jumped from the mat onto the top rope. I mean, I'm not even 6 feet. A top rope to me is literally like at my neck. And he jumped. Sammy Guevara jumped from the mat to the top rope after everybody's like chanting, you fucked up. And then pulled that shit off like it's nobody's fucking business. Look,
corrected it within a second.
It wasn't even that fucking big of a deal.
No, it wasn't. It looked bad for a second,
but then he came back and
it only
did
stands
right.
out because it never happens.
Ever. Well, I wouldn't say ever, but I'll
pretty
just
rare,
say like
pretty
this.
rare.
In this scenario, he came back, he got it right. Look, I love me some Sammy Guevara. I think he's great in the ring. I think he just needs to have his fucking social media taken away from him. At the end of the day, this motherfucker came out in that last fall match and brought it the same way that Bryan Danielson did. It was another great match.
He's incredible.
I want to keep these two jokers together because they have chemistry in the ring. And now you're starting to build up a history with these two guys. You can't if Sammy Guevara wants to leave, he'll leave. If Bryan Danielson leaves, he wants to leave.
And also,
as long as you keep them together, this is a match you can keep on rolling out time after time and again. It'll never be over.
And also, in his defense, 10 years from now, if he's on the Broken Skull sessions, he'll probably be like, I never should have tweeted that about Andrade. He's like, I was young and dumb and like I was pissed off about
not
whatever.
3Ps.
Yeah, I mean I should probably be a little bit more charitable, but I definitely am charitable to him against the fucking dickbags in the first 5 rows that look exactly like me and stand up and chant, you fucked up. Go fuck yourself,
Did he fuck
guys.
up? Yeah, but can you do it? No.
I did chant at Joey's show to that one guy, you're taking a long time to pull up the carpet, and he did tell me to shut the fuck up.
No, he did look up at you. It was like, you shut the fuck up.
He was not happy with me.
I was like, oh.
I didn't say you fucked up, though.
It's not you fucked up, but it's kind of what you said about the tweet. This is what you paid money for. You're going to get razz. If you're going to be a heel, you're going to catch some heat, and that's the fucking job.
The crowd started to boo him, which to me signifies real heat. Like, he fucked up, and then the crowd started to boo him. But chanting "you fucked up," that is a worse chant than "you deserve it." And those are my 2 least favorite chants.
Okay, hang on. You fucked up is worse. You deserve it is second worst.
Yeah.
Okay.
They both break kayfabe. I don't think any chants should ever break kayfabe. The crowd should be in on kayfabe from the
start to the finish.
From the start to the finish, because you're the third character. You know, no. you if you want to make it fun, you should be in on the kayfabe, or else you're just being a fucking party pooper, man.
As much as I hate to admit it, and as long as we're gonna be, admitting shit tonight, I was never big a proponent of the crowd when we were in the pandemic era and crowds were gone, and especially with New Japan, crowds didn't matter. It's not a big deal. Shit, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
That's your big confession, is that crowds are good?
Crowds are...
Wow.
No, crowds...
Dr. Phil gif.
Fuck you, Zach. You're cool.
Pardon-
Where you at,
pardon
Reba?
his take.
You're good.
Shit,
we were like, yeah, all right, motherfucker.
All right, Zach, anything to add? Because Jason and I have been filibustering.
No, we got to get on to that 3 count.
Let's get to that 3 count.
One,
We should let
Nice
Zach
segue.
run it.
Nice segue. Nice.
We should let him run it. Okay, the 3 count is
He don't want to run that
New
shit.
Japan Autumn Rising. The finale. I'll admit this is my count. I'll admit that I did not watch Naito Will Ospreay, but I did watch the other 3 big matches. I watched Edgar Ren Narita versus versus Sonata, and I gotta say it was my favorite Sonata match in a long time. I thought Sonata was great in this. It was a
He helped put. I was getting ready to
It was
say
high
Edgar
speed.
Rennery over.
it was a sprint.
But I think that's part of the crossover with Stardom, where you have the high speed title in Stardom, and now you have the World TV Championship in New Japan. It's no different than what they did in WCW with the TV title. There, it was a 15-minute time limit.
Ren Narita goes over. What you think about the match?
It's like Tubular said. I didn't want to believe in Ren Narita like this, but every time I see him come out, he wins me over. Ishii was the match that should have won me over to begin with. Sonata was a scenario where it's a name that he could beat, but you didn't know he could, but he wins that. Now Zack Sabre Jr. is in front of him. That's going to be an interesting match because Shibata is obviously the mentor of Ren Narita, and you got Zack Sabre Jr. across from him. This should be good.
Zach, what do you think about this match?
The match ruled. I love Ren Narita. I think he's taking the whole thing. But, Sonata was energized. When Sonata has a great opponent, he is great. And just a testament to how good Ren Narita is that they had such a great match.
What did you think about Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil? Were you like me, Zach, hoping that
Please, God.
Zack Sabre Jr. was going to roll up Evil right there and have it be a 30-second match or like a 10-second match probably?
Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, it would have been preferable. I was not like, I don't like tune into Evil matches. Like, I had it on, but I'm the same way. I'm just doing something else. Like, I do not watch those matches. They're infuriating, which sucks because I used to really enjoy Evil matches.
Yep, me too.
I agree. The fact that it's House of Torture is that heel group, and it is what it is. It's disappointing because I like Evil, but the way he's booked right now, it's hard to watch his matches. Thank you, Gato, for making this shit happen. You got the right 2 guys as the final for your World TV Championship. And like I said, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep, and it's less than 2 months away. Wrestle Kingdom, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita at Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, you might just say Edgar
Renteria. I know. It's hard to say. Well, I've said Renteria so many times in my life, dude. I love Edgar Renteria.
Dude, great
I love
shortstop since Ozzie Smith.
I love him. So, Zach, what were your thoughts on FTR versus Khan on the Cobb?
This was a really good match. Big surprise. But the cool thing was it was not an FTR match that you would see. Like, FTR, this is like FTR in Japan. Like, they wrestled a very Japanese match. This wasn't a match you'd catch on Dynamite. It wasn't even like, their stuff with like Aussie Open, which was almost kind of more of a British match, like an actual British match, because that's, where they were. And that's where Aussie Open, comes from as well. It was really good. And I cannot wait to see FTR in the Tokyo Dome. I'm glad that they retained because
money.
Go ahead.
who has?
Jason's talking about me. He just handed me the weed.
Oh, okay. I thought,
The Giggle Twins are talking to each other. You really have to have your mic off when you're talking to the Giggle Twin.
but no, that's the extent of it. What did you think?
I love this match. I completely agree. I don't think that any of us picked Khan on the Cobb, did we?
No, I've folded into FTR at the end.
But they made it very clear after FTR won that FTR will not be taking part in the World Tag Champs, and
That's fine.
they said that
They get the winner regardless.
the next time. I mean, Kevin Kelly said the next time we see him, they'll be facing the World Tag League champions at Tokyo Dome.
Yeah,
January 4th.
Yeah, so in that scenario,
It's a Wednesday this year, apparently.
It's definitely
Good to
going to be Tanahashi and Yano.
Did you see Dax give dap to Tanahashi on his way
For sure.
out?
No, that's what the bad part about the pandemic and just thinking about what could be is this should have happened like 2 years ago and it didn't. It's not a surprise that FTR won. I expected them to win. The match was fine. I guess my biggest problem with this is my problem with New Japan in general when it comes to tag teams. It's the tag teams is not a focus. It's Okada, which I love me some Okada. I love Naito, Ospreay, the whole blah blah blah. This was a chance to put a little spotlight on the tag team championships, and you'd have it. FTR is our tag team of the year once again. No doubt about it. But
we can do the beef for right now. Tag team of the year. It's FTR. It's not even close.
It's not even close.
They've had bangers against Khan of the Cobb. They had a banger against Aussie Open. They had maybe the match of the year against the Briscoes.
Once or twice.
Match of the year candidate.
To me,
the first one was.
Yeah. The second one is critically acclaimed. So that's what I'm saying. I get it. Usos are right behind them. I get that too.
Not right behind them.
They're
just not.
Dude,
they're doing sports entertainment, and FTR is out there fucking wrestling. I mean, the Usos, when they have to wrestle, they're great. But FTR is not doing sports entertainment. FTR is not doing segments of Sami Zayn. I know that we're watching pro wrestling, and I know that it's all pro wrestling.
Right.
But there's not a comparison with FTR versus Aussie Open, FTR versus Briscoes, FTR versus Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, and the Usos versus the New Day. There's just not a conversation.
Tubier, am I that far off on this one?
This is not very Usi of you, but you're right. You're 100% right. FTR is the least Usi tag team on the planet.
I mean, they're like the John Moxley of tag teams. Like, they're out there doing business with everybody.
Okay.
They're making everybody look good. Also, before I forget this, they were very good in this match against Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb also because they were in Japan, but if you're watching as an English speaking, like the whole time they were like, fuck you, get the fuck off me. Like they were motherfucking Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb was motherfucking them. They were motherfucking Great O'Khan. And by the way, Jeff Cobb, well documented that I'm a big Jeff Cobb mark. Great O'Khan, he's the guy that gets it, man. He really gets the pro wrestling lifestyle. He really gets it. He really gets it in a ring. He sells like a motherfucker.
He could be a sports entertainer in WWE now.
Yes.
Now.
The Mongolian chop, the way he relies on the Mongolian chop and just does it over and over again. But, it's so good. But
the crazy part about it is he's like a trained, wrestler. He did that shit. He could do that if he wanted to.
You think he could beat up Samoa Joe?
Ooh, interesting.
I mean, he's probably about 18 years younger. I mean, Great O'Khan's a young guy, right? I mean, he's like 26, 27.
Okay, all right.
I got to look it up now.
I'll go like this. I would take Samoa Joe in a Great O'Khan versus Samoa Joe match. I'll throw one back at you.
I'm talking shoot style.
I know.
Okay.
Shoot style. I'll take Great O'Khan. No, I'll take Great O'Khan. That's some shit. Never mind.
Who would win in the fight?
Great O'Khan.
No, I'm asking Zach. Sorry.
Samoa Joe or Great O'Khan?
Yeah. Great Khan was born in 1991, so he's 31. And I bet Samoa Joe is 45.
That was me like falling on my head. 91, Jesus.
Samoa Joe was.
You was great for your boy.
Yeah, he's my age. Yeah, so he's 12 years. 12. There's a 12-year difference. Who'd win in the shoot fight?
Okay.
I'll take Samoa Joe. Old man strength.
I'll take Joe.
All right, so I want
Dad over here talking that crazy shit.
I want you guys to tell me about Ospreay versus Naito. I didn't get to watch it. You guys broke the news to me before the podcast that
I'll let Zach go first.
Ospreay went over. How long was the match?
30 minutes, just shy of 30 minutes, I think.
And is it a match of the year candidate?
For me, yeah. Like, this match reminded me why I pay the 999 yen every month.
Oh, you pay for
it's
that.
It's just
you don't have my fucking passcode.
I use Jason's password.
I use his for Stardom.
Right.
I don't want to use him for both.
You can use him for both.
I use his for OnlyFans.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, you guys see what each other like. Anyway, no, this was like the quintessential New Japan main event. You know, you expect 30 minutes, you get 30 minutes. Will Ospreay, when I got done with this, I was just in awe. Like, I'm like halfway through the match, and I'm just absolutely in awe watching Ospreay work.
Can't wait to watch it.
When he says he is the greatest pro wrestler, because he's a heel, so he says stuff like that. But there's like no lie. He's probably the greatest like working wrestler right now. He makes himself feel like such a star just through his wrestling that I think his stuff is more interesting to me than like Jay White's stuff, and I love Jay White. But this U.S. title situation feels way more important than the world title situation right now because of Will Ospreay and because of the shit that he does. He just lays it out there, man, and just it's the little things, and I'm just in awe. Like you said, whenever you watch Bryan Danielson match, it's that same thing where you are just enraptured, like you are going to be locked in here
Or
for 30
Vikingo.
minutes, and it's gonna feel like 12. You know.
He's coming to GCW. I just saw
Yeah,
that
he's coming
today.
to the U.S. coming to GCW. Jason's got to get a fight pass plus subscription so we can log into that one.
Hey,
You got me fucked
hey,
up.
is it going to be the same password?
Always, baby.
Gary Payton 6969.
That's the one guy. I was like, you got. Somebody was like,
Jason
you
never
wanted
hated when somebody said they look like another black guy.
No, Gary Payton is
Gary
that
Payton's
dude.
the only one he was
only
fine
one
with.
I would be like, okay, you know what? I'm accepting of that. Everybody says like, I go like Hootie, and I do,
No.
but I do. No, I
People
do
say
look
you look like Hootie.
all the fucking
Oh
time.
no, that
all the time.
that is offensive.
All the time.
That guy weighs a full 80 pounds more than you.
Look, we're just talking about face, man. We ain't talking about
I'm talking about his face, too.
Underneath. That
Proportional.
That being said,
Doesn't look like Hootie. That's stupid.
face, man, face.
Your face is thin. He's got a round face. He looks like a Gerber baby.
goatee, light skin, black, whatever. Black guys all look like it. You know how it works. I'll just say this. For me, the first thing, I love the fact that you have this rematch going on when the G1 wasn't even for the U.S. title. So you have this match, so you have the reason to do it.
Right.
Now, all that being said,
Mhm.
I wasn't really expecting Naito to win. I picked him, obviously, because I'm Naito Mark. That's just what we do. Credit to...
He's your favorite wrestler.
Right now, currently, yes. Credit to Will Ospreay. He keeps every fucking move important. And that's what I think is the biggest thing for me to take away from this shit. When you miss a move 5 minutes beforehand, Will Ospreay brings it back 10 minutes after the fact.
That's NJPW though, man. It's thinking man's wrestling. Like,
and I know, and
you can enjoy it on so many levels. If you feel like enjoying NJPW on like the most ultra call back to this match, call back to this match, call back to this match,
and that's
shit,
what I think.
That is, you can also enjoy it on that level. You know what I mean?
But that's what I think New Japan is
The best?
What was the best in the callback? You saw this 6 months ago. Now we're seeing it again. Will Ospreay jumps off the, there's going to be a poison Rana, but Will Ospreay lands on his feet. And he looks at, Ibushi. Ibushi looks back. It's like, why are you standing on your feet? And they did it again. That's why I like fucking New Japan, because it always keeps you on your toes.
I don't know if this. Sorry, go ahead.
That being said, not mad that Will Ospreay won. He should have won.
Yes.
Moving forward, we got questions with Naito, Ishii.
You're talking about in terms of health.
No, I'm just talking about the guy that.
Zach, who does Naito fight at Wrestle Kingdom?
There you go.
I knew that's where you were going. I'm quarterbacking.
I think it's going to be Naito Sonata winning the World Tag League.
Fucker.
Unprofessional bullshit.
You stole my thunder. I was going to say that too, because that gets Naito into Wrestle Kingdom. You just can't have one of your biggest guys, even if he's in a mid-card.
Are Naito Sonata in the World Tag League?
Yes, they're a team in the World Tag League. And
Who else are the notables in the World Tag League?
Aussie Open. It's probably the
Akira TJP.
That's Super Junior World Tag League.
How many fucking dudes are there? Are there 10 teams in the World Tag League?
8 on one side,
yeah, there's like
8 on the other.
And Archer. That's
Who in Archer?
Pretty fun. Suzuki.
Yeah, that's on the heavyweight side.
I am watching every fucking match. Suzuki and Archer are a tag team in the World Tag League. This is breaking news, folks.
No, actually,
how long has this been out?
It just came out. I guess it was yesterday. It feels right. I'll go. Here's my second Stone Cold lead pipe.
No, you only get one. You only get one. Sorry, I'm turning on your microphone.
Ricky Starks beats Lance Archer.
Suzuki and Archer are going to inflict damage on their opponents.
It's just gonna be fun to watch.
Shoot style.
It's gonna be fun. The young Lions seeing this, announcement
Con
should be on alert.
Con the Cobb. Sonata Naito.
Yeah.
Archer Suzuki.
Aussie Open.
It's Dangerous Tigers?
I would assume so, yeah.
So that's 6.
They're not in it, no.
No Techers.
Do you want to know? I got them right here.
Perfect.
Let's hit.
Goto and Yoshihashi, which is they're good.
Oh yeah, they're good.
House of Torture.
No, they're bad.
Evil and Nijiro.
I wish you would have actually farted. When
It's not even show.
No, it's Evil and Nijiro.
Oh, Jesus.
Show.
Those are going to be bad matches.
Maybe he'll be in the junior one. I don't know. But yeah, then it's Naito Sonata. United Empire. It's actually not Kama the Cobb. It's Hanare and Great Khan.
I'm all right with that. I'm down with Hanare.
And then Yano and Tanahashi.
Oh, that was real? That was real when you said
that's
that?
Real shit. No, that's real shit. That's real shit.
I did not know that was real shit. I thought you were joking.
No, they did it. No, they did it. I think they did it last year. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did it last year or 2 years ago in 2020.
The second and third best wrestlers in the world.
They're known as the Bebop Tag Team.
Who else?
That's a shoot. Aussie Open, Suzuki Goon, which is Archer and Suzuki, like we said. Bullet Club, which is Fale and Chase Owens. PMDK, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols.
Oh yeah,
and then
Dark Horse,
Gabriel Kidd and Alex Coughlin.
Young Lions that are going to get it. Well,
wait. So how many teams are there?
It's 8 on one side. It's 8 on the other. It's
so 16 teams.
16 total teams in a
and then
two
world.
bracket
How many
form.
teams does World Junior Tag have?
No, this year there's 10. There's 10 teams.
Really?
Man,
Yeah,
this
10
is
total.
like this is like watching Stone people play pool. It's like everybody's just kind of hitting the ball around, and everybody's just kind of missing the ball each time. It's like, oh, it's almost going into the pocket.
You don't say.
You know what? We'll put it up on our websites. That's gonna do it for our 3 count.
2, 3.
All right, before we go, let's get some odds and ends. Zach, did you watch Rey Mysterio versus Gunther on SmackDown?
Oh yeah, super fun. Big man, little man. That's the kind of shit that Gunther having this title and actually defending it is awesome.
Yeah,
I think
it
he's
really is.
really establishing this Intercontinental belt again, and the person that beats him is going to be somebody that's going to have to come with it.
Do you think Gunther takes the Intercontinental belt to WrestleMania?
I think it's definitely a possibility. Let's put it that way. I would say he's more likely to than not, but I won't say that he definitely does.
I would say that Rey versus Gunther on SmackDown played into both their strengths massively. Those are two guys that fight better. Rey fights better against big guys. Gunther fights better against small guys. And that was a 15-minute match at the end of SmackDown that could have easily been a pay-per-view match. Could have been a G1 match. Honestly, it was that good.
No, you stole my thunder. Ray is great against. It's the ultimate underdog minus Daniel Bryan in WWE, and Gunther is that next big guy that's not named Roman Reigns. That was going to be my question. Who takes the IC title off of Gunther at this point? We're not
Jake
even
Paul.
talking. That's my dog. But that's the next question. Roman Reigns is going to cough it up at some point. Who's going to cough it up? Who does Gunther cough it up at some point? I don't see anybody in the mid-card that I can say right now that can take that mantle and run with it.
I'd love to see Gunther take it off of Roman Reigns. Like, that would be something, right?
Yeah.
Man,
It would be.
Yeah.
Gunther fucking Reigns.
Yeah.
That would be. I mean,
How
he's a guy.
well, actually, how you get there is the men's side of the Survivor Series. I would assume it would be the Bloodline versus.
There's a full 5 months before WrestleMania. You can get there.
It's a start.
It's just they're not going
Here's your
to.
planting seed.
Gunther's not a star. Like, if they can get Logan Paul back,
Oh
they would have Logan Paul.
Gunther is a star. He's not a star on the WWE portion of the program.
He's just not a crossover star. Like,
Fair.
it's
Totally fair.
It's WrestleMania in Hollywood. They want Cena versus Logan Paul. They want The Rock versus Roman. They probably want fucking.
Do we still get that?
Isn't Zac Efron's going to play Texas Tornado or something in this new movie?
Actually, MJF is
Would
playing Lance Von Erich.
MJF's in that movie?
I just saw that today.
Yeah,
he's playing Lance Von Erich.
That's the fake one, right?
That's the one that's the third that nobody really remembers. Kevin Von Erich.
He wasn't an actual Von Erich, though.
He was the actual Von Erich.
No, he wasn't.
His last name is Vaughn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They brought him in because Kerry got hurt.
So they're bringing MJF in to play the heel, probably.
You ain't a real Von Erich. Zac Efron is playing Kevin, which was one of my faves. I'm
The only one that's still alive.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy shit. I'll just say this. WrestleMania is a long ways away, and it's like what you say, 8 or 9 months. Cody Rhodes is in play. He's going to come back.
Well, you're right, and that completely lulled me into sleep. I forgot about Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is in play, and he will come back at some
They'd rather
point.
have Rock Reigns than.
Do you think that's still that's my question? Do you think that still happens?
Yeah, I think they're playing it down because it is happening.
I
think it'll be the biggest WrestleMania match of all time.
Beer, is Rock and Reigns still going to happen?
I hope so. I want to see it.
Do you want to see it?
Fuck
Oh, yeah.
They should have.
Should it be for the title? Should it be for the title?
No.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I mean, if you're already almost there with another few more months,
If they're gonna do 2 nights of WrestleMania again, they should have night 1 end with the KO show and Stone Cold stunning everybody again. Like, just go ahead and make that like a Saturday night tradition.
1, everybody.
And then night 2 should be Reigns versus The Rock.
For the title?
Now, I could see them splitting up the belts by having like one night be Reigns versus Cody and another night being Reigns versus Rock.
I think it's time to start to split up this shit.
And it's like they could make the bigger one, they can make Rock Saturday night just because they might get more buys on it, because that would be,
whatever.
Honestly, I mean, probably the biggest match of all time. Nobody's ever been as famous as The Rock is right now and wrestled in WrestleMania. Nobody.
If you want to talk
Hulk
about
Hogan,
if you
Lawrence
want to,
Taylor,
if you want to
Mr.
talk
T,
about
nobody.
numbers,
He is so famous.
Andre Hogan is the biggest WrestleMania match of all time.
And more people on the global earth know who Rock is right now compared to those two guys combined in 1986.
Two Beer, you're the deciding vote.
I mean, he's not wrong. Wrestling is not as big though as the problem. The difference is Rock is much larger than anybody else, but wrestling is much smaller,
right,
than it was back then.
Kids in Mongolia didn't watch Big Trouble in Little China in 1986. They've definitely seen Geostorm or whatever the fuck that movie was, San Andreas or whatever.
Jesus Christ!
I'm just like I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I'm keeping it real as fuck. The Rock is famous.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah. I'm just look. It'd be the biggest match of all time.
Look.
Rock Reigns.
I'm the only guy that has Rock.
Wait, Rock
on their
Reigns,
Hall
like
of
Tim
Fame.
Raines from the Expos?
Dare I say, not even the Hall of Fame, on their Mount Rushmore. I'm the only guy. And I'm the guy that's saying...
You have Tim Raines from the Expos on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Yeah, well, yeah.
He a white guy?
Tim Raines. No, he's not. He's the only black guy, you motherfucker. We got to have some representation.
He's the guy I saw on Real Sports in 1997. He was like, yeah, I used to slide head first because I had Coke in my sock. I was like, oh, this dude's real as fuck.
True story. That's why I love Tim Raines. But
still alive.
Yeah, still alive.
Doing fine.
I'll just say this. Hogan, Andre, greater than Rock, Reigns, period.
Okay. Okay, so we're in odds and ends. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about here? Not very much. Oh, have you guys seen William Regal's son fight in NXT yet? Charlie Dempsey is his name?
Oh, that's who. Okay, so he jumped. Shit.
He fought Andre Chase,
right,
on Tuesday,
and then
they had like a 3-minute match, and it was really good. I like both those dudes.
Like the week I watched it, he jumped.
I still can't believe Andre Chase wrestles in khakis.
He jumped Andre Chase the week before, and then that's when Duke Hudson came in.
Mm-hmm.
And made the save. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, keep an eye on this guy, Charlie Dempsey. He's William Regal's son. They get along. He's still in NXT.
He said they get along. That's comedy.
Well, I mean, they do. I'm just. He's not like It's not like one of Rock's half brothers and sisters.
Stop. Hey.
Daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Rocky Johnson had a lot of things to do, man.
Rocky Johnson was like that generation, Nick Cannon, really.
He's heating up.
I don't even know which one I want to go with. I'll just go with the one I want to go with. You ain't shit.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week.
That nigga said Rocky Johnson is Nick Cannon. I'm dead.
Cowboy Bob Orton. Still alive. 72.
Canadian. I'm sorry, dog.
Missourian.
Yeah, he lives in Pattonville. He lives right down the street. We can go visit him.
No, we ain't going there tonight.
They're shutting down all the Jack in the Boxes in the St. Louis area. We could go find Bob Orton right now, bring him back here, and do an hour with him before we get 4 tacos.
Hey. They shutting down all the Jack in the Boxes.
Yep. Jack in the Box is declaring bankrupt.
What? No more egg rolls.
True story. I saw this on the news. Jack in the Box sells more tacos per year than the entire country of Mexico.
I wish there was a camera on me right now. I'm just like, what?
Jason stared at me like,
you're kidding me.
Jason really stared at me there. Ryback is 41. You guys remember when Ryback was a big deal?
Yeah.
Ryback was not a big deal on the podcast, was he?
No.
Like, since we've been doing the podcast?
No,
Never was.
All right. Peyton Royce, attractive young lady, is 30. Leo Rush, 28.
Going back watching the little MLW, I want to see Leo Rush.
I love Leo Rush.
Actually, he's going to be in Japan in the crossover for New Japan Stardom.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they love him over
I'm
there.
bummed that we actually have to wait to see that because I don't want to pay $27
Shit,
and be on.
Hey, two beer. You know I'm getting ready to get
Disco
that
Inferno. Disco Inferno
you got the fucking email. Do that shit.
Disco Inferno is 54. He asked me where the bathroom was at Starcast. I was like, holy shit, that guy is good looking.
No, he did.
I was like,
It was
that
just like
guy's
when we
put
broke
together.
off or whatever.
And it was Disco Inferno. Tanahashi, Hiroshi Tanahashi. How old do you think he is?
My age plus 7 is, okay, I'm getting ready to turn that, plus 7, 56.
Zach, how old do you think Hiroshi Tanahashi is? How old did you say? 56?
56.
How old you?
45.
He's 46. 56? What the fuck? Are you okay?
Fuck you, man.
Are you smelling toast?
He's got knees made of spider webs.
Sunil Singh, 38. My favorite Sunil Singh moment was when Orton tossed him into the table.
Okay, we said this last week.
But they're twins. We don't know which one it is, so we'll say it
Okay.
about them both.
Okay.
It was the funniest thing ever. Like, Orton looked at the camera and was like, oops. He was like fucking screeched. He was like, zoinks. La Parka is 57.
The real one or the fake one?
I think the real one. Alive, dead, or Canadian?
Alive.
Oh, sorry, alive, black, or Canadian?
No.
Wait, was it dead, black, or Canadian?
It's dead, black, or Canadian. I'm going to go with Canadian.
No idea. His name's La Parka. I mean, he can't be Canadian unless
going
it's
with
like
Canadian.
LEPARQUE,
See,
and he's like
you
from
ain't shit.
Montreal.
You ain't shit.
He's like the puck.
No, I was about to say, at least you took the time out to put the Q in that motherfucker.
Didn't take any time out, man. It was off the top of the dome. Albert,
the
we talked
shirt.
about Lord Tensai earlier. Albert is 50.
No, you talked about that motherfucker.
I always liked him.
What?
I mean, to be in the
So let me
attitude,
get this
to be
straight.
in the attitude era, shave your head, name yourself Prince Albert, and put a bunch of shit in your face. Like, he intentionally looked like a penis with a Prince Albert. His name was Prince Albert, and he looked like a Prince Albert.
Okay, fair. All right. Moving on.
It's really like kind of
No,
genius.
Moving on.
Kalisto is 36, and then your boy Bill Vagey
Your boy.
turns 43 this week on
Nice,
Tuesday, and I
nice.
share my birthday with two absolute studs.
Yes.
Macho Man Randy Savage,
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
would have been 70,
One of the greatest
This week.
WrestleMania matches of all time.
and Shima.
What about
Shima's 45.
Wait. What about Chef Cedric? I thought you guys shared a birthday.
Oh, that's somebody that we know. Yes,
Yeah,
Cedric.
but-
Yes, Cedric Abishan. Yes,
Yeah.
he's also November 15th.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
gonna
we're all
say.
boys. I'm just saying that, like, me and two wrestlers, that's a pretty good crew. Randy Savage and Shima. Talk about some 5-star motherfuckers.
Look, Randy
That's pretty
Savage
good.
alone. Okay, like I said,
Man,
him
Randy
and
Savage.
him and Ricky Steamboat, I can argue one of the greatest WrestleMania
Yeah, that match was
matches
like
of all time.
10 and a half minutes. Everybody talks about how classic it was. Dude, that match was short.
Shit.
I could go put it on for you on the TV, and I
Right
could
now,
go take a
and
piss and
no,
check my fucking fantasy bets.
I will beat your ass. Don't disrespect
just
that
saying.
shit. Don't disrespect it. Don't disrespect it.
Anyway, please don't feel the need to reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook and wish me a happy birthday.
No, please.
My life is very fulfilled.
No, please.
I have a new job.
No, please. Yeah,
child,
no, exactly.
Wife that I love.
Okay.
A hobby that I enjoy doing every Thursday night.
Ride that motherfucker on Tuesday.
Do not feel the need.
Tuesday is what?
Reach out to me.
11th to 12th, 13th, 14th.
And say happy birthday.
14th. Sounds right.
For Murray the Merman Murray.
Check.
For Patriot Pat.
Check.
For my wife Erin.
Check.
For Vice.
Check.
For Tinder Mahal. For Joey O'Farrell.
Double check.
For Two Beard Zach Pullman.
Check. Good to have you back, Zach.
For Jason Cornelius Bell.
You got it right. Names are right tonight. Check.
I need you to support your local restaurants.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers because it's legal in Missouri now, and they need your money more than ever. I'm not talking about anybody I know.
It's in February.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Boo the heels.
Boo, bitch.
We apologize to Eddie Kingston.